Rising Collective. The message I'm getting has been kind of ruminating in my head for the past couple days is they Judas themselves trying to Judas us. Everyone is comprised of high vibration, or the highest self, the lower self, dark and light, masculine and feminine. And they decided to go into whatever was the lowest frequency of themselves. So the constant betrayal, that's part of the journey. And they thought that these betrayals and backstabbing or just stabbing you in the front, whichever, the setups, the sabotages that they were all putting in such hard work for would actually work, right? And they do spell work but can't even spell work. They put in no work except for things of a low frequency. So the thing that they keep, and they're so consistent with it, the thing that they just refuse to believe for some reason is that your energy really and truly does come back to you. So spell work is, basically a bunch of people sitting around talking shit about somebody, sitting in a circle, probably around a candle and, some crystals or something in a book, a spell book. And there's usually 3 or more people coming into agreement on that same shit talk about themselves, because especially when you don't respond to them, it means you don't even absorb any of the energy. Maybe you might transmute it and send it to your higher self or send it back to them. I think for the most part, collective's doing return to senders. We're just taking the energy, alchemizing and transmuting it to our greatest and highest good, and we just keep it pushing for the most part. You might combat a little bit to try to still give warnings to them that we absolutely do not have to, because it's like either way, they're mad, right? They're mad when they're doing the spell work. They're even mad when they feel like they got the victory. They might go out and celebrate and be genuinely happy, and then only to find out, and the next morning that it only, took hold for maybe 2 hours, and it was alchemized and, thrown back into the universe or whatever, and then it just comes back to them. Either way, whether you return to sender or not, it's going back to them. It just might take a little longer, but that means it's just building more for the volume of how hard it's going to hit, for the volume of the karma, when we do absolutely nothing. So it's just like, you can make their karma lessen their load by involving yourself in it, or you can, just let the Most High defend you, protect you, and be done with it, and move how the Most High tells you to move. If the Most High tells you, say this, say that, defend yourself, right? Then, what they meant for bad, and meant, the Most High means for good. So really, at the end of the day, they're just hitting themselves. It's just like energy, like a battery. The nature of a battery is to drain itself, actually. If it doesn't have a charging source, then it just goes dead. And the batteries, they truly are not built for longevity in that way to drain and then refill. And that's how the body works, kind of the human body works. That's how people end up dying. It's like they drain their battery too much to the point that it dies, and then it refills again. That's the death and rebirth of the the human ego and spirit and spirituality. And they want to drain us to the point that we can't resurrect. We can't refill our batteries, refill our cups, but our energy comes from the Most High, and once they're drained, they're just drained. They're SOL until they connect to source. Once you connect to source, a battery, like a source of power, a power source, solar power, right, the sun, then you have everlasting life. Now, if you want to sit there and burn out your cells on unnecessary nonsense that is on a low frequency, that is a draining activity, time wasting activity, energy wasting activity, then your energy levels will remain low to the point you can't manifest on the levels that you used to manifest on, that you can't be powered on the same levels that you used to manifest on. These people's power sources are other people that are on a low frequency as them, though, because that's the only people they can really, are in a low enough frequency that they can still try to attach themselves to. But eventually, you keep growing, they fall off. Like, the more you grow, the more they fall off, and the crazier they become, because they try to deem us as crazy, try to make us look crazy, try to make us look stupid, humiliation, and the collective don't give any fucks about any of that. It's just like they're sitting there with all these gizmos and gadgets and all this material stuff. It's like, we don't want your whips and chains, and you can't turn us out. You can't put your karma on us, baby. Can't put your karma on us. We ain't vanilla, baby. We focused on our Squilla, baby. So they out here they're focused on us, like, because they think we are their Skrilla, like. So it's like the only thing that tells us is that we're the bosses. It's just like, it's like they'll try to flex their position or whatever, and disciplinary action, send us home, fire us, write us up, whatever the fuck. They think they really have power when it's not even real power, because it's just like they still have to be connected to something to have that power, to something earthly to have that power. And until they connect to the Most High, it's just like, that's why the patience of the collective, I'm getting tongue-tied a lot lately. It's weird. As long as they keep trying to, attach themselves to us, they will continue to fail, because we're not who they're supposed. The whole point, the whole journey is for you to find your way to connect to the Most High. Like that, at the end of the day, we belong to, and we'll go back to the Most High, and then we'll be sent where we're supposed to go for this next life cycle, to complete that cycle, and then return back home. And these people just are insistent on just taking themselves out of here and repeating the same trash cycle, because a lot of these people, they're going out mad. They're going out sad and mad and wrong, and they're going out, fighting for the wrong reasons. It's just like, at this point, it's like it's not even affecting us. It's kind of like, you might say a little something, but it's not in a negative energy. It's not like they couldn't bring our frequency down. It's not in a, we're trying to really take you out. It's just like letting you know what's getting ready to happen. Fair warning. Or what the potential of what can happen based on the trajectory of where you're putting your energy into. And they get real combative, real upset, and they even like bring other people in to join them in this low frequency, to the point it stops them from creating with the Most High from source. It stops their or stifles, stagnates, slows down their creativity, and they're on their own journey and purpose. It's just like, if you're gonna be a hating ass bitch, just be a hating ass bitch by yourself. Be a hating ass bitch. Don't bring a bunch of people to be a hating ass bitch with you against one person. Like, if he was really, and they try to hype that person up, and I'm like, the person you're hyping up needed you to come hype them up. They needed you for validation. So what are you looking at for real? Like, what? Because like the collective, we get our validation from the Most High. God validates us. God powers us, and they even tried to make fun of needing power from needing higher source. That's all we ever had. And all they ever had was people who are like them, who would backstab them and betray them for money, who would turn their back on them, if they heard the right words or whatever, instead of coming to find out if they really did this stuff. They have people who would not confront them, but if they get around someone like a member of the collective, and we're like straightforward, we will confront the person, especially if we call ourselves calling them a friend, or calling ourselves a friend to them. Because me personally, I'm a friend before I'll be a friend to you before I'll be anything else to you. And I don't mind any conversation. No conversation is uncomfortable to me, because hey, it exists here. So it's like there needs to be a conversation about it. I've always been up for a conversation. But if this road's a little bumpy, but on I have my terms and conditions on which we can have a conversation. We're not arguing, we're having a conversation in a calm manner. Get to the bottom of it. Eat the meat, spit out the bone, business type conversation. Like, let's get to the point. What is this really about? You know, and if you still want to be beefing at that after that, you know, I just assume that, you know, you're stuck in your ways, you're stuck in your motives, and you know, you choose to lose, because by choosing to go down the path of betrayal, deception, and lies, and seeing like sitting up bashing other people, then you choose to give up on yourself every day, because that puts focus on someone else. Just like competition, it's just like competition only causes you to focus on somebody else. Emperors, empresses, we do not compete. There ain't no competition, because what's for us, we're gonna get it without having to compete for it. And that's just point blank cynicism, period. Like, there's no, you know, and then people are competing where they don't compare. And where the comparison is lacking is that we don't compete, but they're competing. They're in these competitions with us, and we don't even know about it. We're just like la-di-da, you know, just chilling, minding our business. And they out here, well, don't it make you mad about it? And they're just sitting back watching me mugging, you know, like they care. I forgot what movie it was. Dude was eating a banana. I was just like, oh, they over there making money, focused on their money, focused on, you know, they got a connection with the Most High. You know, I don't like that shit. I don't like that. And, you know, they find their way in our business, and then they find their way, you know, they're getting thrown out of our energy, like Jazzy Jeff. You know, our ancestors, they are putting in time, they putting in work. Well, their ancestors are showing up through them. Because you can be in the same family, but not from the same bloodline. You can have the same blood on the 3D, but not be from the same bloodline in spirit. Yeah, don't get it twisted now. We get these mixed families. You know, we get put in a family with our enemy bloodline to, you know, as a test, because they want to take, you know, the superior bloodline out. They want to take the royal bloodline out, and the peasant, the criminal bloodline is always going to come up against the collective in numbers. You know, they're fucking criminals. You know, what's that song like him? Criminal. Yeah, they some criminals. Our words are like a dagger. What a jag it is. It'll tab you in the head whether you know, listen to the song. The song's called Criminal by Eminem. And you can translate that however you want to, transmute that energy however the fuck. And you know, it's just like when you decide to compete with people, and that's what they want to drag you into, in some competition, like, oh, who can do it better? You know, it's just like, no, what you're going to do is get out of my energy. That's what the ancestors say. Oh, what you're going to do is get out of my lineage's energy, and you're going to show who wears that karma better. that's what you're going to show them. Like, they wear piss poor, you know, they look like their clothing line is hobo. You know, they out here looking crazy, you know, energetically. They're looking like hobos energetically. Like, right now, some of them are still holding on to, you know, their resources, their materials for dear life. And I know they were making fun of me for deciding to live in a trailer. I'm not about to be out here scrambling for an apartment that I'll never own, or anything I'll never fucking own. And if I'm not gonna own it, you know, it's not gonna look too, you know, I can rebuild myself from that. But losing a whole house, no. Or I'm not gonna be trying to scramble to pay a mortgage for a house that I'll never own, because the land, there's still property tax, there's still land tax. I'm not gonna be sitting here scraping for that. Like, I will own land one day, and there are laws that you don't ever have to pay taxes again. And until that, you know, but I'd rather live in my trailer and not be worried about eviction and foreclosure and bankruptcy. You know, and I'm good on that. Like, y'all can seriously, dead ass, y'all can keep that shit. Like, yeah, that's what you want to brag about, having it, to have material wealth that you done sold your soul to the devil. I'm okay. You know, and I'm not knocking anybody because they have a house, or I'm not jealous of it. I'm glad that's your life. And if you like it, I love it. But don't come over here trying to make me feel bad about mine, because I'm happy. You know. So anyway, it's just a quick intermission. I made some shepherd's pie, a modified version of shepherd's pie. Mushroom, squash, zucchini, radish, jalapenos, bell peppers, onions, of course, red onions, and what were the spices? The spices were cayenne, cumin, chili pepper, salt, just salt, turmeric, and ginger, which they have great healing properties, and saute the ground beef, mashed potatoes with freaking taste. It's by instinct, strictly. And yeah, that was probably the best shepherd's pie I've ever freaking tasted. And I've been to. That's one of my favorite dishes now. Now that I've made it like that. And what else did I do? Oh, I made a chocolate avocado mousse, which is also very lovely. I'll share those ingredients later because I have to remake that. I'm doing modifications to it to try to perfect it. I think it's perfect as it is, but I still want to try it because even perfection can be improved upon. But worst case scenario, I have the original recipe, and we can always revert back to that because every once in a while you do want something wholesome. You do want something you had as a kid, and that kind of helps you heal your inner childhood wounds, which is what these karmics, they just refuse to do. They refuse to get somewhere and sit down and get out of other people's energy and faces and go heal themselves, go do the inner work and heal their wounds, whatever hurt them in the past, and usually it has to do with survival. When they're so focused on what somebody else is doing in their life and what makes them happy, it's usually because their solar plexus and their sacral root and base chakra were severely disrupted and drained and damaged in their younger years. At some point, someone had power and control over them through harvesting from that chakra, from those chakras. But they get energy from all the chakras, but those were the most deeply impacted. And as above, so below, right? We have the Christ consciousness above, and we have the Judas below, just robbing us, our entire lives. Judas, sometimes you gotta admit you just rob yourself, instead of other people, like by giving your energy to trash. And I'm done with that. They'll say, they'll try to drag you into your ego. Oh, you're afraid. Oh, it's best that you don't. Da 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 da. I'm just like, yeah. If you were in that situation, you probably would be responding, destroying your life, going crazy, trying to find out what people were saying. Going crazy, trying to prove to them that they're wrong, when all you have to do, if it's really wrong, then you would just authentically be you and not be worried about the hoes, right? And that's just what I do. I'm just like, I'll respond to things, but reacting is just like, it's not it's not an emergency. It's not really posing a threat, and that's what reactions are based off of. It's like it poses an actual threat. Like respond is just like, okay, motherfuckers are annoying now. This shit's annoying. I'm gonna respond, and yada yada yada. It's just like you're not looking for what they have to say back. You're not trying to engage in combat. It's just like, I said what the fuck I said, and I'm standing on it. You don't like it, you got all these monitoring energies and spirits around me, that you send, and you know what's up. So it basically is what it is type of response, and that's how I've always responded. It's just like, okay. And then they'll, try to drag you to something about your past, and it's just like, the shit just gets old. The past is old. It's old news. It's not who you are. So it's coming to a point that these people are starting to be invisible, and the things they say, their words are falling on pillow top, basically. The cushion of the gap between frequencies, because they're not able to free. That energy is getting so small that it's dying out. It's not even able to make a dent in a pillow. A dent. It's not even able to ruffle any feathers at all. And it's a desperate energy clinging off of your life. Like, I know that, and they try to hang on to you. If you have any progeny, they try to hang on to them energetically. But the thing is the offspring is always going to be stronger than the parent, than the carrier of the offspring. And they are just having especially when it's it's useful. So they try to drain, to drain the progeny, because they can't use the adult anymore, the carrier. And these are basically, how I'm looking at it, they're like basically a bunch of recessive chromosomes that are just running around, defective and recessive chromosome. They're missing pieces of the wrong chromosomes, and they real fucked up out here about it. Like, they are really just, and that, like, the thing is, like, these people, they love to attract younger people who have not, whose brains are not fully developed, and they will use that to have them engage in like stuff that is not productive ego, the other people's ego, that is getting them to engage in this, and that is new and exciting to them, and it's something that they haven't experienced. So what do? You're excited about everything as a child, right? It's like, oh, look at that, I want to go over here, I want this candy, I want that candy, I want, like kids, like they say, kid in a candy store, they want it all. Even if they never had the candy before, they may try it, even if it's the most disgusting candy in the store. It's just like, they don't know what's the most disgusting candy in the store. They're still gonna, tectonics, like these artificial earthquakes, hurricanes, and whatever else they're trying to do man-made, and like nature isn't powerful enough to correct herself and restore her normal flora and ecosystem. I'm sorry, but it's looking idiotic. Like, the study of the earth is where you need to stay. That is their lane. That's where they need to just study and observe, just like a flower. If you think a flower is beautiful, do you pick it or do you leave it planted? I mean, or if you're gonna pick it, do you plant it in fertile soil and take it with you? It's like one of those things. It's just like, stop fucking with my Mother Gaia, experimenting on her and expecting not to be fucked up, because these natural disasters are going to hit who they're supposed to hit. Everybody thinks, there's people who think they're above reproach, building those underground bunkers and shit. Y'all probably aren't going to make it either. There's a good chance that y'all won't make it, and even still, it'll be a disaster so catastrophic that life won't be the same in the worst possible way for you. It's gonna be some things that get unearthed on this planet, some bacterias, maybe some viruses, from the plants, and all the shit that went extinct because y'all were fucking around with Mother Gaia's ebb and flow with the universe. You're not gonna survive. They're not gonna survive. And that's just sad that they thought they could play God with the earth too. It's like, if they think they can play God with the earth, what makes you think they wouldn't try to play God in your life? That's how I see it. So I'm not surprised as to how far these people will go. It's just like, there's their complex right there. They have a God complex. And it's like, that's the shit that Judas is thinking. It's like, you think you have power and control over people? No, we're simply trying to be cohesive with you. And that's just it. We're trying to be peaceful, cohesive, and compromise with you until we're not. And that's the point they're pushing people to. Like, there's a lot of people going on strike right now. And there's a lot of people going on strike right now, like a lot of different companies, and it's not going to stop, because people are getting tired of getting treated like shit just because they need to be able to afford the death trap that you put them in, because there ain't no way I'm about to be paying on shit for 30 years. There ain't nothing I'm about to pay on for 30 years at all. It's just like that I can build for myself. Because I'm good with my hands, I'm gifted, and you can be too. Anybody can be gifted. Anybody can be, or at least good with their hands, if they focus and put their energy and their passion into that, instead of looking at how they can get it from someone else. The whole thing is within, and if you have that connection with the Most High, you will build and not destroy. The devil destroys, the devil divides and disconnects from source. So, the devil is here to cause division from source, not amongst the people. It's because angels and demons do have to be divided. And now I was reading something that said the devil, Jesus did not promise to bring unity. He promised to bring. He was here to bring division amongst certain groups of people. To serve the Most High. That's what it's going to be, because I was struggling with that conflict, that concept of everything and everyone being in unity. Yes, we all have an ebb and flow. We all have some sort of unity energetically, like the negativity, the positivity, everything like that. But some things just aren't going to be able to exist anymore, and that's going to be the new wave that heals the life forces on Earth. The inhabitants of Earth, I'll say that, not Earth itself, but the inhabitants of Earth, which will raise the frequency of the Earth, Mother Gaia herself, right? Or raise the frequency high enough to the point that Mother Gaia herself says, hey, they deserve this higher frequency, for the work they've done internally. So that's Mother Gaia working, co-creating with the Most High in the universe. And people are just, for some reason, dumbfounded and baffled by that, and they're constantly trying to disprove that, the Most High even exists, trying to discredit the Most High by trying to take control over somebody else's damn life. Other people's lives. Imagine that, trying to play God, and that's the reason you even get up in the morning. You're able to even get up in the fucking morning to try to do this bullshit. That's wild to me. this cyberbullying, these cyber crimes, social media stalking, in-person stalking, like intimidation tactics and all this other shit that they try to control people with. Shit's over. It's over. The illusions that they have casted to make us think that we fucking need them, we don't. Leave them to their own devices. Let them eat cake, and we'll eat from the earth. Let them eat cake. That's what I say. But anyways, I think that'll be the title of the video, and I'm gonna end it there. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Fight the good fight. Stay on your journey. Stay on your path, and guard up. Do not get distracted. Don't get hit by those hooks. And drink water. Keep your frequency high. That energy is clearing out. The energy is getting higher. The frequency is getting higher and clearing out a bunch of nonsense. We are in Scorpio season. By the way, I'm just going to extend the video a little bit. So, and I am, and just a little bit about me towards the end of this. Libra Sun.